Poonam Singh. I extend a very welcome to all the eminent participants and audience who are here for gracing this inaugural ceremony of the webinar. So first of all, I would like to welcome all of you, and I would like to say that to realize the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi, of a self-reliant India, NCGG is conducting the National Good Governance webinar series under the Good Governance Initiative, felicitated with the Prime Minister Award for Excellence in Public Administration. So first of all, I would like to welcome the chairperson of this webinar, Sri Amarnath Ji sir. He is a senior IAS officer and additional secretary, Department of Administrative Reforms, Government of India. All the chief secretaries of the states, the administrators, the honorable administrators of the UTs, and the all senior officials, the top academicians, which we have invited for this webinar, and ladies and gentlemen. So I would like to, basically in this webinar series aims to highlight the best practices and award-winning achievement to create a precedence for other states to follow and replicate. So we have invited two lead speakers from the states who have done excellent work in public administration. So first of all, we have invited for the lead speaker, Sri D. Krishna Bhaskar, Director, Commissionerate of Industries, Government of Telangana, and second, Sri Sang Funstock, Secretary, Department of Hydropower, Government of Arunachal Pradesh. Both lead speaker will speak on the improving service delivery and redressal of public grievances for the both respective districts, which they have done very excellent work, and they got the Honorable Prime Minister Award. So first of all, I would like to welcome the chairperson of this webinar. So kindly address the audience and inaugurate the session. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Chief Secretaries and other distinguished civil servants who have joined on this webinar, and all other civil servants and other officers. Good morning to you all. This webinar is I will request that the participants can mute their mics, and you may be unmuted when you are required to intervene, but during the discussions and webinar, please keep your mics muted. This webinar is a series of the webinars which DARPG has introduced to replicate the best practices which have come up in the states and union territories. As all of you are aware, that Prime Minister's Award for Administrative Excellence are given every year. And these awards recognize the outstanding services developed by the officers. These officers have taken extra interest, personal interest, and utilized the resources in their districts and have achieved excellence. This excellence has been recognized at the national level. Now, this webinar and series of webinars endeavors to spread this information to the other states and districts so that I request that somebody's mic is on, please mute the mic. So this webinar gives an opportunity to us to understand what has been done in those districts and how we can replicate these seminars and these initiatives in their own districts or in their own department. Replication of the initiative is extremely important if we want to achieve the benefits for the citizens on a large scale. Today's seminar or webinar focuses on public grievances. As you know, that public grievances are becoming very important for the government. Government is reaching out to the citizens, and it wants that services being delivered are satisfactory. The central government through DARPG, we are making a lot of efforts and comprehensively revamping the whole system of public grievance disposal. Various states are also taking various initiatives, and some of these states have done outstanding job in this regard. Now, today we have two outstanding civil servants who have done excellent work in their own districts, and this gives an opportunity for us to listen to them, how they went about, what are the challenges that they faced, and what are the issues which other districts can basically tackle. So we will listen to them, and in case you have any question that can also be addressed, and I will request those who are interested, they can get in touch with us also, they can get in touch with the officers directly also, and they can devise how experience from these two districts and from these two officers can be replicated in other states and districts. So with these words, I will request the officer, Mr. Krishna Bhaskar first. He can give his presentation.
Before film, sir.
Yeah.
So, Akash ji, before I think start the presentation of Sri Krishna Bhaskar ji, we have two films on both initiatives. So first Sri Krishna Bhaskar ji will speak on, and before the film, before the showing the film, I would like to introduce the Sri Krishna Bhaskar ji. Sri Krishna Bhaskar ji, an IS officer of the 2012 batch. He is currently working as Director Industries, Government of Telangana. He has worked as Sub-Collector and Sub-Divisional Magistrate, Municipal Commissioner, District Collector in two districts, Ranjana, Sirsila and Siddipet. His work on the field has been recognized as numerous fora. He has twice been awarded the Prime Minister Award for Excellence in Public Administration for the year 2019 and 2020. His work has also been the recipient of the National Award for Excellence in Rural Development in 2019 and the National Swachhta Darpan recognition in 2017 for sanitation. His work in urban development was chosen for the Telangana Excellence Award in 2018 and was appreciated by the National Green Tribunal as an example for urban sanitation management. He is also the co-author of a case study in economic interventions that is now an academic platform, including the Harvard Case Repository, to be used for teaching in universities across the world. So before starting, we would like to show the clip of his initiatives. Kindly Akash ji, please present the film of Mr. Sri Krishna Bhaskar initiatives.
जनता की समस्याओं का त्वरित समाधान कैसे होता है, इसकी मिसाल बनकर उभरा है तेलंगाना का जिला सिरसिला। सिरसिला में टेक्सटाइल पार्क बनाने के साथ साथ 40,000 से ज्यादा पावरलूम लोगों में वितरित किए गए हैं। आज हर हाथ में रोजगार है। रोजमर्रा की जो भी समस्याएं हैं, उनकी सुनवाई देश के किसी भी राज्य से ज्यादा तेजी से की जाती है। जिला प्रशासन ने इसके लिए एक खास पोर्टल बनाया है, जिस पर लोग लॉग इन करके अपनी समस्याएं लिखते हैं।
One of the first things we did was we ensured that whatever system we had in place was completely tailored to our district. It was made by our district for our district. It was not a top-down approach. So really, in a sense, grievances for us have been a building block because we've used grievances to gain a strategic idea of where we need more thrust. So not only are we focused on solving an individual grievance, which will provide relief to a particular petitioner, we are also taking the information provided by a set of grievances and taking that information to create a macro level policy. There have been multiple instances where issues of sanitation, issues of ration cards, issues of road repairs, issues of law and order have been solved without a single paper being submitted in the collectorate, without a single file being moved. They have been solved live on social media. The important idea was to take forward the grievance in a structured fashion and see were in general being solved or not.
हम लोग को पानी के लिए बहुत तकलीफ था सर। हम लोग को 2 साल पहले तो हम लोग को पानी बूंद नहीं था, फिर गवर्नमेंट ने हमारे को बहुत साथ दिया। अभी पानी प्रोजेक्ट की वजह से उधर से भी आया हम लोग को, और बारिश का भी पानी ठीक है, और दोनों की तरफ से भी अभी पानी है, तो हमारा तालाब पूरा फुल है।
Recently, I did raise a complaint about potholes, about road issues. So it was taken action within 24 hours. So entire 4 kilometers road has potholes around 10. Collector's Twitter account got replied and problem also solved. They shared personally also photos and Twitter social media.
15 लोग की अभी तनख्वाह मिल रहा है, सब तकलीफ नहीं है, लॉकडाउन से भी तकलीफ नहीं है, सबको तनख्वाह मिल रहा है। 4 साल से अपने को तनख्वाह अभी वीकली 5,000 4,500 आ रहा है अपने को। घर अच्छा है, अभी घर में तकलीफ नहीं है, काम चल रहा है। अभी लॉकडाउन पीरियड में भी अपने को ऑर्डर मिला।
బతుకమ్మ చీరలు ఇప్పుడు వచ్చిన కానుంచెల్లి మాకు చాలా నెలకు 10,000 15,000 రూపాయలు సంపాదించుకుంటున్నాం. ఇప్పుడు మళ్ళా పొదుపు పథకం కూడా గవర్నమెంట్ డ్రా చేసిళ్ళు, దానికి 1,000 రూపాయలు మేము కట్టుకుంటే 1,000 రూపాయలు గవర్నమెంట్ కడుతుళ్ళు. దాని వలన మా సమస్యలన్నీ తీరిపోయినాయి, మా పిల్లలు బాగా చదువుకుంటుళ్ళు, ఇప్పుడు మా సమస్యలన్నీ చక్కబడ్డాయి.
3 प्रॉब्लम्स जो भी चल रहा है, ओवरफ्लो हैव बीन कंप्लीटली स्टॉप्ड इट ऑफ। सेकंड थिंग जो मच्छर है, कीड़े है, वो कंप्लीटली वेंटेड ऑफ। एंड थर्ड थिंग इज ओवरफ्लो हैज बीन स्टॉप्ड, इट इज नॉट बीइंग मिक्स्ड विद द एग्रीकल्चर लैंड्स। It has become a model gram panchayat for rest of the villages, for entire district. So most of the people are taking this as an example to implement in their villages. So I just wanted to improve more in working in this village.
Now please present the presentation of clip on Tawang district.
अरुणाचल प्रदेश का तवांग जिला अपनी कुदरती खूबसूरती और बौद्ध धार्मिक स्थल के रूप में मशहूर है। इसमें 4 चांद लगा रही है जन जन तक विकास पहुंचाने वाली योजना सरकार आपके द्वार।
भारत सरकार द्वारा संकल्प से सिद्धि तक पॉलिसी लागू किया गया था। उसके तहत हमारा अरुणाचल गवर्नमेंट ने जन सुनवाई सम्मेलन करने के लिए बोला गया, जिसको बाद में सरकार आपके द्वार के नाम से जाना जाता है। तो सरकार आपके द्वार जो है, हम लोग दूर दराज गाँव में भी जाकर सभी विभाग एक ही दिन में वहाँ में कैंप लगाते हैं, और वहाँ पर गाँव वालों का जो भी समस्या है वहीं पर समस्या का हल निकालते हैं।
सरकार आपके द्वार से यहाँ कई मीटिंग हुआ था, तो मैं भी उसमें उपस्थित हुए थे। तो उसमें जो भी अफसर आया उन्होंने हमारा प्रॉब्लम को पूछा, तो हम लोगों ने आमतौर पर हमारे गांव वालों ने सभी ने यही कहा कि हमारा यहाँ इरिगेशन सिंचाई नहीं होने के कारण से हम अपना खेती को पूरा रूप से नहीं कर पा रहा। सरकार ने हमें 90,000 रुपया दिया, तो उस रुपये से हमें बहुत ही फायदा हुआ। यहाँ हमने एक इरिगेशन के लिए एक टैंक खोदा, उस टैंक में अभी पानी जमा हो रहा है। उस पानी से इरिगेशन हमारा सारा जितना भी जगह पे जरूरत पड़ता था करीबन पहुंच रहा है।
ये सरकार आपके द्वारा बेसिकली उन लोगों के लिए है जो बहुत ही गरीब है, जिसको आने में गाड़ी का भाड़ा देने के लिए पैसा भी नहीं है, या जो असमर्थ है जैसे उसका डिसेबल है, या उन लोगों के लिए है जो काफी बुरा है।
Hello.
सरकार आपके द्वार के कैंप में शेड्यूल ट्राइब सर्टिफिकेट, परमानेंट रेजिडेंस सर्टिफिकेट, बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट, आधार कार्ड, ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस, ये सब तो बनता ही बनता है। साथ साथ में सरकारी जो भी काम हो करीब सभी वहीं पे हो जाता है।
आज मैं मेरिट सर्टिफिकेट का रजिस्ट्रेशन करने आया हूँ सर। मैं फौजी हूँ और मैं 1 महीने का छुट्टी आया हूँ। लगभग ऑफिस में बनेगा तो 45 डेज तक लग जाता है। इसलिए आज सरकार आपके द्वार पर आकर मेरा मेरिट सर्टिफिकेट वो रजिस्ट्रेशन हो गया सर। इसके लिए बहुत खुश हूँ सर।
अब तो जानने से तो इतना गरीब पता लगेगा। हम लोग नहीं जानने वाले कुछ मालूम नहीं जो बहुत भेद हो गया तो आप लोग आके इधर
नजदीक में हो गया, कारगर में हो गया। अभी आज आधार कार्ड बनाया और बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट बनाया और एसटी बनाया, सब कुछ डॉक्यूमेंट सब कुछ बन के बहुत अच्छा हो।
चावल मिला, चीनी मिला, दाल मिला, सिलेंडर जो अभी गांव का सामने गोड़ का सामने मिला।
सरकार आपके द्वार जो शिविर हम लगाते हैं, ये देश की जो चहुमुखी विकास में बहुत बड़ा मील का पत्थर साबित होगा, चुके कि हम दूर दराज गांव में पहुंचने की कोशिश करते हैं, जहां पर पहले जो सरकारी कर्मचारी वो नहीं पहुंच पाते हैं, सरकार की जो लाभ है जो लोगों तक नहीं पहुंच पाते थे, तो उन जगहों पर हम पहुंचे हैं और वहां पर जो आखिरी व्यक्ति इस देश के आखिरी नागरिक हैं, वो उनके द्वार तक हमने पहुंचाया है।
Thank you, Akash ji. So now I would like to invite and welcome Mr. Bhaskar. Bhaskar ji, are you there?
I'm here, ma'am.
Hello.
I'm audible?
Yes, kindly speak with.
Yeah. So, thank you very much, sir. I thank Secretary Sir, Additional Secretary Sir, and all the officials of DRPG for providing this opportunity today. I'll quickly start sharing my own presentation from here. I hope I should be able to do that. Trying to share my screen here. Yeah. Is the presentation visible? Is the presentation, is it visible? Can someone just confirm?
Yes.
It is visible. The presentation is visible?
Yes.
Right. Thank you. So my name is Krishna Bhaskar. I used to be the district collector of Rajana Sirsila till about 10 months ago. And I'd be speaking about what we've done there. First of all, this is sort of, I'm talking about only what's happened from, say, October 2016 to about August 2021, those 5 years. The last 1 year is not taken into account. This is what was evaluated by the department. And I also had another point to make. Sir, I'm not attending from office because I'm currently under isolation. A bunch of people in my office are tested positive. So first of all, about our district, this was the very first district. I was very fortunate to be the very first collector of Rajana Sirsila district. And this was in October 2016. And if you look at the right side and you see how the district is made, the red mandals or taluks refer to those subdivisions which are fully drought prone, and the yellow drought subdivisions refer to those who are semi-drought prone, which means that at some stage, every single part of the district was either semi-drought prone or fully drought prone. So that was sort of the elephant in the room. There was also another point which I tried to make again. Our entire system, which I'm going to present to you right now, was tailor-made over 4.5 years. In that sense, multiple experiences. I'll take you to the inflection point. So right at the end, it was fully geared towards meeting the individual needs of district. So our takeaway from this was that it had to be as local as possible with as global an approach as possible. So our USP is a dynamic system. I'm very sure that even in the 10 months since I've left the district, this system has evolved further. And our essential philosophy was grievances are not to be disposed. Grievances are not check boxes to be ticked to tell oneself that grievances have been disposed and one has done one's job for the day. They are essentially building blocks. They are feedback mechanisms. They are very useful information which can help you shape how your district reaches out to every single individual and empowered citizen. And that is the point of view we took. And we are very happy to see that it's worked well for us. That's helped us plan much farther ahead than we otherwise could have. About our district, in 2016, I'll take you through very strong, very salient features of our district. You see on the top right, left there, we were drought prone. The second point, which you see in the middle picture on the top, is there was a huge amount of migration. So probably out of all the 33 districts, this was a district which had the highest amount of migration to the Middle East. So this is not technical or skilled migration. It was more like unskilled migration, going as drivers, helpers, sweepers, etc. So we wanted to see if there's a way to reverse that as well. And the other point I want to talk about is we were known for being the center of weavers' suicides because of lack of economic scope in whatever they were producing. They were producing cloth which at that point of time was retailing for 1.75 rupees per meter, compared to other cloth which could retail in the market for 80 or 90 rupees per meter. There's a huge thrust. And what you see below is another point. At one point of time, we had in the CPIM Maoist Politburo, 2 of the 11 members had some sort of links to our district. So what you see there is something called a stupa, which they put up in a place where they have complete area domination. We had 343 settlements, and about 240 of them had these stupas, which were an indicator that there was complete area domination by the Maoists. The reason I put up that photo there is at the bottom, it has now become a government procurement center. So not only is it a symbol of any other agency having area domination, it is now a symbol of government not only getting back a particular area, it is also a symbol of government having taken it back with very strong grassroots support. It is now a government procurement center, and it has been a procurement center for 6 years now. And that for us is the greatest possible symbolism that government is now back in action, and more so. So I've talked about that now. So what has happened is after the district was formed in 2018, 2016, I beg your pardon, we've punched above our weight repeatedly. We were a backward, drought-prone, left-wing extremists affected and weaver suicide-prone district. And we've used all these particular salient features as building blocks to go to a place where I think, very honestly speaking, we have genuinely punched above our weight. If you look here, we've won a lot of national and state level awards. 90% of what you see are all national awards. You look at Deen Dayal Gram Shashktikaran awards, the Sagi Villages awards, Swachhta Darpan, we placed first in the country. We won the Telangana Excellence Award for Urban Waste Management, National Award for NGGWS. COVID management, I'll talk about it. We won national level appreciation, Kaya Kalp again national, and finally the Prime Minister's Award. And the idea is to try to understand how we were able to punch above our weight for a very small and very backward district. So like I said, our evolution has been modular, it has been integral, but it's also been, I would say, to take our failures into account first. So we've taken all our failures and we've seen what is to be learned from it, and we've used them as inflection points. So our plan has never really been according to reality, but we've used it well enough for us actually to see a lot of growth and a lot of scope. So one of our other points of our philosophy was we look more at subtraction and not addition. I'll try to explain that. It is like we figure out what doesn't work. Now, essentially, you may have a lot of systems in place, you may have a lot of initiatives in place, a lot of ideas, people are brimming with them. But when you make contact with the field, when the rubber meets the road, you figure out that a lot of them will not work. Yeah, I'm getting on. So the trend of main grievances, as you can see, the textiles, and you can see here, for employments and floods and elections, you can see they're, I would say, time waste, but all the rest have been coming down. And the other point I want to talk about is, when we talk about grievances, we talk about closure and redressal. It's very easy to close a grievance. Somebody comes with you and says that land has not been regularized. You can say it's not possible. Close it and make your system show it to have been successful. But that's not the idea we were looking at. We were looking at redressal, much more than closure. So there is a phenomena called Goodhart's law, is that when a metric becomes a target, the metric ceases to be of any value because people start gaming the system to produce a metric and not really the outcome you're looking for. So we tried not to look at closure, we tried to look at redressal. And what the process is, I'll try to take you through that. We had 9 inflection points over 4 years, and I was lucky to be there in those 4 years. The first point was employment. We had a lot of problems with employment. People weren't very sure about where they could actually get employment, which I'm sure is the case in most collectors across the country. In fact, the team for the PM Awards also was quizzing us on this. So what we did was we started creating a database. That's how it started, of people, original aspirants, their Aadhaar card numbers, their qualifications, and what they were interested in. The next stage was, there was a lot of complaint about water quality, especially when we started off with Swachh Bharat. There was some, at some level, some pollution of water bodies, and people were complaining about the quality coming down. So what we did was we started adding more data to our databases here. We started adding unique IDs to all our grievances so that we could get back to them through district level functionaries. Then we started saturating. So if a particular district had a problem, so we would go ahead and finish the entire repair process, including building toilets, including building a farm pond, including building the trenches for that particular village, and then move on. Because otherwise, we would not be able to get economies of scale or scope for that matter. Stakeholders, we started including them. We started including whichever officer was actually involved, and we started putting them in the system where they would get online initiatives. And fidelity. Now, essentially, this is the point I talked about earlier. There is difference between we closing a grievance and the petitioner himself or herself certifying that the grievance is closed. So the fidelity is when I say a grievance is closed and the petitioner agrees with me. There are cases when that is not possible, but we try to get fidelity as much as possible. Those are our BRAC principles, and we've looked a lot of validation for it. The other inflection point is our Vemulara Mahashivratri. This is the temple with the highest footfalls in all of Telangana state, and Shivratri there has about 3.5 lakh footfalls in one single night. So we figured out that even your usual grievance redressal system, when you have events like this, you have to branch out and create a one-time event. So we created an app called Vemulara Mahashivratri. It's run for 5 years, and in fact, the ratings on the store have been very good. It's 4.9. For reference, it's more than the Facebook or the Twitter apps. Specific learnings we learned was when you have a specific problem which is time bound, it makes sense to throw the kitchen sink at it. And this has been a very particular part of a grievance settlement mechanism which opens up for 3 days every year. It's worked very successfully for us. The other point, was our textiles point we talked about, and it's very difficult for me to talk through all of this right now. But the point is, we came together with a separate module for this. And we talked about guaranteed marketing. We talked about insurance. We talked about providing loans. We talked about loom upgradation. We had subcategories for all of these. And what was known, we had around 70 times the usual male suicide rate in Zipsilla. And I'm very proud to say that for the last 5 years, we have not had a single professional suicide rate. And this has been our proudest moment as working in the district. And a lot of this has been covered across my state. And it's very honest to say, as the newspaper headline you can see on the right, Zipsilla has genuinely defeated suicides. There has not been a single professional suicide because we've been able to reach out and make allowance for people to upgrade themselves, and also make allowance for people who want, let's say, a watered down version of a livelihood. We have a separate system. This system was also studied by the honorable team which came to the Prime Minister's Awards. And these are also, I'm very proud to say that this is now a case study in the Harvard Business Case Repository, the IB Case Repository, the Case Center Repository, and the Asia Business Case Center. The next point was water. Fine, water was there. Now, our intention, like I said, we were a semi or a drought-prone district fully. So what we did was we did a lot of mandal classification. We added that to our system. We added typical grievances, which a lot of time are as simple as getting a water trench out or getting a farm pond in when people themselves are interested, getting encroachments out. And then we had a special also court module because there was a lot of land acquisition involved, rebuild bed projects. And we were able to liaison directly with the courts. That was also part of the grievance redressal system. And the result was our water levels, contrast to many other districts, went up by 6 meters. And again, I'm very proud to say this is now a case study for the last 4 years. The 2018, 19, 20, and 21 batches of the IAS have been studying this at Mussoorie. The other point we want to talk about is waste management. So it's not enough to just carry out your waste. What do you do with your waste? So we actually figured out a way, and this was something which didn't show up in our system. We went ahead of schedule, got it up in our system, and made modules for this, reached out to people. We tied up with ITC for a dry resource collection center. Then we also created something called composting, pipe composting, which was picked up by the National Ministry for Rural Development, where there was a lot of composting. 80% of our composting and waste management is now done at a village level. So we have something called a composting yard, and we have something called a treatment center. Only hardcore plastics and let us say other chemical matter, we take it to a district dry resource collection center, where the paper and plastic is taken care of by ITC, but we otherwise deal with it chemically also. So the NGT actually visited our district and held up our district as an example to be followed elsewhere. So essentially, we earn close to right now about 2.5 lakhs per month from our waste. It is not that we spend money on disposing our waste. We earn money from our waste, and we've created 15 jobs, paying each above 15 to 20,000 each just to handle this weight at the district level. The other points I want to talk about, elections were a point in between where for 6 months we had a lot of things to do there. So we went very hard on social media. You can see from there. And our system was so well oiled and so well lubricated that we were able to help, especially in COVID time, other states as well. So the Honorable Chief Minister of Arunachal Pradesh actually went on record and thanked us for using our system in reaching out to their own individuals, their own residents who were then based in Hyderabad and other places of Telangana. We used that for that as well. Janahita, then COVID management, we coordinate a lot with other states, power looms, and we 2 years ago, DRPG had invited for a workshop on how we had done this. And the final point I want to talk about is what you see on the right is 1,340 units we had built as free housing for our town, Sirsila town. It's a very strong and flagship scheme. This was also evaluated by the central team. But more than building, I want to talk about how we selected. So there's an old puzzle which talks about coming to a fork in the road where people don't tell you which is the right way. So you have to draft your question in such a manner that even the wrong person will give you the right answer. So what we did was we took 25 databases and we added them to our data. So database of car ownership, database of land ownership, database of previous challans, database of land buying, database of registration, database of two-wheelers, database of four-wheelers. We took permission from government and we were able to triangulate these 25 databases to actually figure out how many people had a household income which was less than 80,000, 90,000 for them to be eligible. This worked very, very successfully for us, and this is now a model across the state. There is, of course, a problem of privacy. This is a problem which was discussed 20, 30 years ago. So what we've done is we've anonymized all the data. A team from the Commissioner ESD comes, they anonymize the entire data, and they give us the anonymized data. They selected the beneficiaries, and only those who are selected, we get back the original names, which can be traced back through code words. So there is no loss of privacy as well. And the common theme of which has been going on since the last 5 years in Sirsila is we use social media very aggressively. So there are instances where grievances have been solved in 2 hours, especially grievances which relate to filling up a road potholes, filling up some sort of sanitation issues, a school not getting water or food, some drainage issues. And this was also very keenly watched by the central team when they had come. And this somehow gave us a lot of credibility when we took forward other initiatives. So finally, ending up after all these 9 inflection points, this is what we end up with, the entire system. So we have a system for assignment, we have a system for resolving, we have a system for escalation, and we have a system to close a loop to actually figure out whether the citizen himself or herself is actually happy or not. These are sample screenshots of what has happened. Anyone looking at the app can get a better idea of this. We still have challenges remain. Like, for example, people come for policy issues. On the right, you can see there are railway project houses who come and ask for the railway alignment to be changed. Now, this is a decision to be taken at state level. So this, on paper, it shows up as something we were not able to solve, but the truth is these are not possible. Other examples are of fake complaints and fake complaints. Unfortunately, this is a true phenomena. There are people 5 to 10%, maybe at max 15%, who create problems on a regular basis, who are professional petitioners. One has to deal with them and try to be as polite with them as possible. And then passing the parcel. Unfortunately, in government, we do have this tendency where one officer passes you to another desk, to another office, maybe in other district, maybe in headquarters. So that is something where we have worked on, but it's something we have to continuously work on with weekly reviews. So what is exactly a closed petition? What you see is not really what you get. You have very challenging or unsolvable policy issues, which are around 10%. You have clear policy issues, which are again 5 to 10%. You have fake complaints, 5 to 15%. You have long gestation time. Like somebody comes and says that I need a new project, your irrigation project. You have to go to government, get permission, get a budget release. That will take 4-5 years. And then you have people who may pass the buck at this level also. So ultimately, when we look at successful grievance redressal, we are looking at a 50 to 60% rate from the point of view of the petitioner. You can close them at 100% at your level, but our experience says 60% is sort of the upper limit for successful, satisfactory closures. So again, I'm coming out with Goodhart's laws. If we go as per this temptation and try to show 100%, the idea is the target starts becoming very misleading. So we try to see as much as possible qualitatively if our disposals are reflecting at the ground level as well. So final thought, we had a lot of success with this. People have been happy. We've had good feedback, but the point is the more you deliver, like the Red Queen says in Alice in Wonderland, you run as fast as you can to stay in the same point. The more you deliver, the more the expectations increase and the more you have to up your game. Thank you very much, sir, for this opportunity. I'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much, Bhaskar ji, for your very, very nice presentation, and also we congratulate you for your excellent work in administration. Thank you so much, but I would like to make one request. So kindly stay in your web room, because in the last there is some question answer session, and we will take at least 1 or 2 questions from the audience, and suppose it is related to you, have to give the answer. Thank you so much. Kindly stay.
I'm here.
Thank you so much. Another presentation. that related to improving service delivery and redressal of grievances in Tawang districts. So first of all, I would like to welcome the lead speaker, Sri Sangphun Stock, and I would like to a brief profile I would like to share with you. Sri Sangphun Stock is an IS officer of the 2010 batch. He is working as Secretary in Department of Hydropower, Government of Arunachal Pradesh. Previously, he worked as a Deputy Commissioner, Tawang District, Government of Arunachal Pradesh. During his tenure as Deputy Commissioner of Tawang District, he was awarded Prime Minister Award for Excellence in Public Administration 2020 for successful implementation of the Government of India program, improving public service delivery and redressal of public grievances. As Deputy Commissioner and Superintending Engineer, he was awarded Gold Medal for his meritorious services by His Excellency, the Government of Arunachal Pradesh. So now we welcome the officer. Kindly address the audience about your excellent work. Thank you so much. Kindly.
Thank you, ma'am. Respected Additional Secretary, Joint Secretary, and other senior officers of the ARPG, and Madam Poonam Singh. Once again, I thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to present about the Tawang district, where improving service delivery and redressal of grievances, on that PM award was awarded in 2020. So I would like to start my presentation. This cover photo is the Tawang Monastery, which was built in 1683, and this is second largest monastery in Asia, Buddhist monastery, housing 500 monks minimum. So about the district, Tawang district is one of the smallest districts. It has only 2,172 square kilometers. But the altitude ranges from 3,500 feet to 22,500 feet. And the altitude of district headquarters Tawang is nearly 10,000, that is 9,850 feet. And the population of Tawang is 49,977, that is as per 2011 census. And currently it should be more than 55 or 60,000, so between these one. And Tawang district is bounded by Tibet in the north, and on the western side this is Bhutan, and south is Assam. The main occupation of people of Tawang are agriculture and animal husbandry. And there are two villages where no agriculture whatsoever can be done. These are located at very high altitude. So they depend on only animal husbandry, that is yak. And I think I'll go to the next. Yeah. Tawang district has total 218 villages. And the government of Arunachal Pradesh had taken up a mission, that is Sarkar Aapke Dwar, that is providing services at the doorstep of the people. So that has been carried out by all the districts, but Tawang has been adjudged as one of the best performing districts, and a gold medal was awarded. So in Tawang, I think we have provided more services to the people. So the purpose of Sarkar Aapke Dwar camps are to provide all the government services to the people living in the villages at their doorstep, and to resolve their grievances on the spot with the motto, one-stop solution to multiple problems. And for Sarkar Aapke Dwar camps, nearly 140 officers and officials go to the villages where the camps are held. And we had during this 2018-19 and 19-20, we had total 49 camps, and the total number of beneficiaries was 43,695. And the photograph is one of the camps which was held in a village. The major services provided and grievances redressed in the Sarkar Aapke Dwar camps are providing ST certificates, permanent residence certificate, birth and death registrations, Aadhaar enrollment, free medical services with free medicines, old age and widow and disability pensions registration, issue of ration cards, new water and power service connections, registration of job cards under MG Narega, registration of marriages. Registration of marriages are also done in the district magistrates court because we do not have session court in Tawang district. Collection of outstanding payments of the power department, issue and renewal of driving licenses. We issue even the driving licenses on the spot by taking test on the spot itself, and new registration and renewal of vehicles, new account opening by banks because we have requested, and all the banks also, private, including private banks, and we request them to attend the Sarkar Aapke Dwar camps to participate in that one. And even the legal services authority also, they participate and they also provide services. Enrollment under this thing, Prime Minister's Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana and Prime Minister's Suraksha Bima Yojana, and creating awareness on various government schemes and all other, any kind of problems, we try to provide solutions on the spot. So these two photographs are the photographs where these services are provided in the villages. So like, as an example, we have provided ST certificates 1,884 in 1819 and 1920, 1,023, and PRC 1,771 and 1,117. Marriage registration were done 197 and 150 respectively, and birth certificates 1,848 and 1,203. All these are in the far-flung villages because nearby towns, they come to the office and they can do it there itself. But all these are left out ones, and Aadhaar enrollment also. And we also provide, to encourage agriculture and vegetable cultivations, we provide 3 seeds to the villages. And we, including this thing, some plants of the horticulture plants also, like we have distributed walnut saplings also to the villagers. So this is one of the photographs of services provided to senior citizens who normally cannot come to the offices. And the photograph which you see with this thing beats, that one is one of the hardest village, which is called Mavo village, and it is situated near the China border. And there no vegetable or any kind of agriculture can be grown there. Only people depend on the yak husbandry, that yak rearing and milk products. There are 2 villages exclusively depending on the milk products of the yaks. So there also we have gone there and we have provided some poly houses, and we have encouraged them to do some vegetable cultivation in the greenhouses, poly houses. And these ST certificates distribution are done. So this is the Lugutang village, which is the hardest village in Tawang district, and it has only 11 households and only 64 persons there, and they depend entirely on this thing, yak husbandry, and it is situated at 13,500 feet, which is above tree line, that village. So to go to there itself is a project. When I went there, it took 13 hours on foot march and 3 hours by road. So total 16 hours it took me to reach there. So there also we have held a camp and we have provided all the services there. So these are some of the photographs, like distribution of agriculture, testing seeds and agriculture equipments on subsidized rates. All these things are distributed. And also the registration of farmers also done in the camps. So this is photograph of one of the free health camps held, and registration under CM Arogya Yojana. This is also done. We have this thing, registration to be done in the CM insurance. That is the insurance scheme up to 5 lakhs. This was prior to PM's insurance scheme. So now, of course, both are being combined together now. And this is a visit to Lugutang, where during winter, this is the scene where you have to walk in the snow. And during the camps also, we invite local MLAs also to visit the camps, and the panchayat leaders also. So to improve the education scenario, what we have done is we have assigned all the officers of all the departments of the district, one school each, government school that is. So they adopt one school each, and all those whatever problems they have, like if it is a public health engineering executive engineer or department of power executive engineer, if the problem is related to his department or her department, they solve it, and if not, then they interact with the other department and they request other department, and the solutions are found that way. So that has also been proved a very effective one, and that was quite helpful. And we also, during the camps, we also facilitated the toppers of the school to encourage, as an encouragement to them. And we have taken this initiative of Swachh Bharat Mission, that is a segregation of waste at source and daily door-to-door collection of waste in biodegradable garbage bags, and which are sold to the we have a district urban development agency there. We do not have municipality. So through that, we sell the plastic bags, and it is based on the polluter pays principle. The more one generates the waste, he has to spend more for purchase of the plastic bags. Unless they buy it, we do not collect. So they are forced to buy it. So that way they buy it, and it is the blue color is for the dry waste and green color is for wet waste. And the the public are also encouraged to use compost pit in their backyard, where they can dump the wet waste and they can subsequently use as in their kitchen garden as a manure. And from the dumping yard also, the plastics are sorted out and we are handed over to the Public Works Department for using it in the black topping moss for mixing with this one, bitumen. And also we have encouraged for carrying out mass social services in every first and third Saturday of every month. And that is also being followed judiciously by the people. They do cooperate in this respect. And the other problem was, challenge was that power supply problem was there. We have two departments, Department of Power, which looks after the distribution and transmission, and we have a hydropower department, which looks after the generation. So there was a coordination problem also between the two, and the distribution problems were there. So regular meetings had to be held, coordination meetings had to be held, and the power scenario has been improved after the meetings, in fact. So this is photograph of one of the micro hydro projects, which is a 6 megawatt project, which is providing power to the Tawang district. We do not have grid line, national, regional grid line, state grid line there. So all the power supply is provided by the micro and mini hydel, small hydel projects, which are located in Tawang district only. We have total 16 numbers ranging from 30 kilowatt to 6 megawatt. So services under e-governance also we have provided. So the issue of ST certificate, permanent resident certificates, 750 numbers and 805 ST certificates, income certificates, 431 numbers, and government ID cards, and dependency certificates also we provide, and character certificates also. But the maximum services being availed under this e-governance has been the inner line permit, e-inner line permit. The people from outside state, if they have to visit to Tawang or Arunachal Pradesh, they have to have inner line permit. So issuing of inner line permit through e-governance has been the maximum service that we have provided. And we do have this CM dashboard also, where monthly department-wise performance reports are evaluated, and we have to upload it. And CP grams also we have this. But here the number of complaints has been not many, maybe because of the network issue also, because the networks are not very good there. We have received only 5 complaints, and we have resolved those things during those period. So the main people generally prefer to come to the office or when we go to the Sarkar Aapke Door, so face-to-face meeting and solving the problems, that is more effective rather than this CP-Grams one. And through e-governance, we issue this Jivan Praman also to the pensioners. And Wi-Fi project is also, we have this thing, and GEM portal is also there, but that has not been fully functional of yet. This has not become very popular among the departments of the government department now. And SEN version 2 also has come. Earlier one was there, that has become defunct. That is statewide area network for providing this thing, net services and all. So this, some models are there, e-certificate of the ST certificate and Jivan Praman registration for pensioners. Grievances can be redressed in the following ways, which we have done this one. Face-to-face interface in office, that has been proved very effective. And in the Sarkar Aapke Dwar camps, that has proved more effective. And we are available on telephone also. Nowadays, WhatsApp has become very popular and people post it in WhatsApp groups, whatever problem they have. And we attend to those also. And we have a complaint and suggestion box also, but there also it has not become very popular. And CP-Grams, of course, there. And we have this thing, citizen charter displayed here, but we try to resolve the issues within shorter time. And we have the advantage that we have very less population compared to other districts in the country. So we can do it. So we could do it and we have done it. And all the officers and including deputy commissioners, everyone is accessible to public and anyone can work it in anyone's office. That has been the system. During my tenure, what we have seen is that keeping even the personal security officers in the offices also, that is intimidating to the poor villagers, uneducated villagers. So we have done away with that also. So anyone can work in any time without requiring any prior appointment because we have a less population. So we could do it. So that way, all the problems we have solved. We could solve whatever we could do it. That was within our this thing. And the villagers are in general happy, we say, with that arrangement. So these are some of the achievements. Tawang district has been awarded gold medal for best performing district in organizing Sarkar Aapke Dwar camp in the year 2018 and 19. And Tawang district was the first district to achieve ODF in 2017 in Arunachal Pradesh, of course. And Tawang district has been adjudged as the cleanest district of Northeast under Swachh Sarvekshan Gramin by the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation in 2018. And Tawang has been adjudged as the best tourist destination by the government of Arunachal Pradesh, that is state government, in 2017. And Tawang District Hospital received Kayakalpa Award in 2017 and again in 2018. So twice Tawang District Hospital has received Kayakalpa Award. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This was really very, very wonderful presentation and a very good, I think, effort for those, I think, the field and those respective area where it is very remote and very difficult to reach there. So thank you so much, sir. Now this is the question answer session, and I would like to invite the audience and all the audience with the, I think, the senior officials and any district collectors and any, I think, the senior officials, the academicians who are present in web room. If you have any query from both speakers, kindly ask any question if you are willing to know. Are we audible? Akash ji?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible, but I guess there is no question as of now.
Thank you. DM Karoli, I think. DM. Who is speaking? Kindly introduce yourself.
इधर से आप ये भी चलता रहेगा, इधर से करोगे तो बोल पाओगे।
Kindly introduce yourself first, no? If you would like to know your name and designation also.
Good afternoon. I am Soumya Agarwal. I am District Magistrate from Balia, from Uttar Pradesh. Am I audible?
Nice,
Can I
nice.
proceed with my
Yes,
question?
yes, ma'am. Yes, please.
I have a question from the first presenter, Mr. Krishna Bhaskar. I wanted to ask, he spoke about fidelity, that the complainant closes the complaint, closes the grievance, as well as the district administration closes the grievance. There's a handshake mechanism. So can you give us some numbers about what percentage of fidelity could be achieved? Like, say, for example, if there were 100 grievances, in how many could he could the entire system, or could the entire district, could they achieve absolute fidelity? The person who had the grievance was completely satisfied.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, if you take 100 out of the 4 odd years I was there, the best case scenario was around 63 to 65. Best case scenario. So to closure, of course, you can always reach 99.5, 100%. But
Right.
where there is, you get a green signal on both sides. I mean, both on the app from the petitioner side and from our own side, closure as deemed by both of them. Best case scenario 63 to 65. In one particular, I think it was about 50 to 53 as well.
50 to 50. Also, I have a further question. Was there any special mechanism? You also spoke about coordinating with the courts in certain cases. So what kind of mechanism did you have for coordinating with the courts? Because there's so many land-related cases which can be sorted out only by the courts. We are quite helpless in certain matters.
That's a great question, ma'am. So I'll just take a minute to answer your question. First of all, we needed a dedicated apparatus. So we actually took permission from government, and through our own revenues also generated from the app as well. We hired 2 retired deputy collectors to head a wing in the collectorate as well, who would report to collector on a weekly basis. And we also hired 2 liaison officers in the court. Now, usually you have 1, but what happens is when this individual is not paying attention, sometimes it slips through. So you have 1 right at the bench level and second the registrar level. So these 4, along with a staff of about 2 people and let's say other attendants and officers, with a team of around 10, we put a room for them. And we ensured that every single case, there were 3-4 levels. First is there were cases where we had not even filed counters, the very basic case. So those were taken care of immediately. The second was actually asking for being mentioned by the GPs, speaking to the GPs and getting them to mention. Third is getting them to be listed. And fourth is where there were serious cases with ramification other districts, going to the AG or the AAG, the Advocate General or the Additional Advocate General, getting them on board and going to finance and clearing previous bills, which are usually the issue here, and finally finishing them up. So I think we were able to clear more than 500 cases, ma'am, but as of now, when I left, there were still about 150 cases in the pipeline. But the main ones were clear, because of which we could actually build those reservoirs.
Right. I think that's a fantastic initiative which
Thank you,
Mr. Fasli took. Thank you.
Any other question? Do you have any query?
Excuse me, ma'am. I'm Vishal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I would like to know whether the last date for the submission of the DAR PG award application is going to be extended or not. It is, I think, the 31st of July. It is the last date.
I think this is a question you should ask us separately.
Sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. There is.
Since you have asked this query, have you registered on the portal?
Yes, we have already registered.
If you have registered, because date for registration will not be extended. So
Okay,
that the last date is 31st July and date will not be extended for the registration. But submission of nomination, we may consider extending the deadline, provided there is a scope. You know, suppose we are getting sufficient applications, we may not extend also. So we will take decision on 31st of July. But you must register. There is a possibility, if you are registered, you can submit the nomination even after the deadline also.
Okay, sir. Okay.
I think what is, let me just repeat and clear it, because large number of officers are connected. As far as registration is concerned, last date is 31st July. So please register immediately before the due date. Although income tax date is also 31st, but if you want an award, please register quickly on this, because there is no registration opportunity after that. But as Joint Secretary explained, that we might extend the date for submission, provided you have already registered. Okay, I think we can.
Thank you so much, sir. Yeah. Is there any query or question? Is there any question from audience? Shall we conclude?
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Okay. Okay, one question, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had a question from the first speaker.
Kindly introduce yourself.
I am a consultant from Haryana Right to Service Commission.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And I wanted to ask a question from Mr. Krishna Bhaskar, sir. I wanted to ask that while he was explaining about his initiative, he mentioned that he triangulated data from 25 different databases. I wanted to ask you how did he solve for beneficiary mismatch during the process?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So what we did was, essentially what happens is, usually when you ask for applications, people give their white ration card or they give their water bill. That sort of proves that they're BPL. But what happens in practice is, one person may be holding a white ration card, somebody else may actually hold a four-wheeler or a two-wheeler, or they may have a house of their own. So we made a list of 25 databases which will actually give you information. One such database is, for example, vehicle ownership, which is held by the transport department. So if you are holding, let's say you actually drive an Alto and you use it to go to work, it's very unlikely you're in a BPL family. So we look for any member of their family which we are actually having access to a vehicle of their own. Another example is paying property tax on a home. When you pay property tax, you actually mention in Telangana whether you're the owner or not. So if you own a pakka house of 5-6 rooms and you're also claiming that you earn, let's say, less than 15,000 a month, that's also unlikely. So we've created about 25 of these databases, and because it's a privacy issue, we couldn't do it at our own level. You'll first have to reach out to your Commissioner ESD, Electronic Service Delivery, or whoever is the equivalent in Haryana, and actually sit with them. We reached out to all their databases, we talked to the departments involved, we got buy-in from them, and because privacy was the issue, the data was encoded at their own level. So we sent them a list of the applicants, the data was encoded, they ran all these, and typically the case was out of 25. If they were meeting the criteria on even 3, then they were typically not eligible. And then once they gave us the data back, it was again in name form after having been decoded at their level. Please don't stop there. What we should next do is, we did 4 levels of public consultation. So we collected the data, then we put them up publicly and on the website, and we sent them on WhatsApp group as well, that so-and-so people have been selected, and so-and-so people have not been selected because they own a car, because they own a house, because they are in a government job, because one person in their family is working in the UK, something like that. Once you put that, then you conduct a Gram Sabha. And the government goes very clear and says, this is why we rejected you. If that individual wants to contest, he is free to contest for this Gram Sabha, which is recorded, the press also comes. And the videography is kept there. Now, if that person contests, he is given 15 days to submit documents to prove that is not correct. And then another Gram Sabha is held. And once that Gram Sabha in front of the entire village, it's very clearly proved whether this person is eligible or not, the final lists are put on display for one last time, and 1 week time is given. So it is not just electronic triangulation, it is also physical verification with the entire village being involved or the entire town being involved. So both of them together will give you a foolproof mechanism actually selecting a beneficiary. We are happy to say we didn't get a single complaint about what we selected.
Okay, so didn't you receive any disagreement among people?
Certainly. So, but the disagreement was largely on matters of how we chose. Like, for example, somebody may come and say, listen, I own a 4-wheeler, but don't I deserve a home? That's a different matter. So that we take government instructions. The G was very clear on that. But we did not get a single complaint which said, you have misrepresented me. I don't own a 4-wheeler. How could you say I have a 4-wheeler? We never got one single complaint of that sort. We got a lot of disgruntled people who said, I may own this, but it's my brother, and he's cheating me out of my right to property. Therefore, I should be considered anyway. Our facts were never in dispute. The policy was in dispute, but that's a government decision anyway.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any
Thank you.
document available on your website or something?
Yeah.
Do
Sorry?
you have any document available on the website?
I have a document. Maybe you could you can just email me, krishna.bhaskar@gmail.com. I can make it available to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now this is the time for conclude this.
Yeah.
Is there any question? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. There is one small question from Krishna sir only. So, ma'am, and first of all, I would want to. I am Neha Jain. I am District Magistrate, Kanpur, Dehat, Uttar Pradesh. And ma'am, I would want to thank the ARPG for this wonderful initiative that we are getting to see the best practices of the two collectors. So, sir, you have identified 9 inflection points for the district. Sir, I wanted to just briefly, because this is my first district magistracy, so wanted to understand that what was the exercise that led you to believe that these are the 9 problem areas which I should solve on priority, because on a daily basis we deal with so much and the thirst is there to do everything possible. How do you actually boil down and subtract to these 9 problems, sir?
So what happens is, thank you for the question, Neha. The point is, you'll never get to know unless you fail forward. So it is your own experiences which provides you your own inflection point. So when we joined, it was unemployment. Then it was Shivratri in the temple. Then it was water issues. Then there were elections. So it is your own experience which provides you with inflection point, failing forward. And when I say fail, I mean it in a very positive sense, that you get feedback from the system. So you cannot sit in the collectorate and decide that these are the most important points. Or you may do that, but you have to be very willing to completely jettison that ideology when you get feedback from the field. So we've been very ruthless about it. We've taken only feedback and only the actual implementation statistic as on the field to guide whatever our system ultimately evolved into.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think we are succeed in our aim and objective to organize this webinar, because our main objective is organizing this webinar is to highlight the best practices and award-winning achievements, to create a precedence for other states to follow, and to I think replicate the services for the other officers. We know that all of you are very bright officers, but we are sharing the best practices in front of you to replicate in your respective area. Thank you so much. And for this webinar, I would like to, our sincere thanks goes to the chair, Shri Amarnath sir, the additional secretary, Department of Administrative Reforms. And thank you, sir. You have given a lot of time to, and you have listened very patiently, and you have given your views during the inaugural address. So we are very, very thankful to you. We are also very thankful to the, I think, the very senior officials, the respected chief secretaries and other, suppose if there are some chief secretaries and other officers, senior officers, we are very, very thankful and grateful to you, sir. The all district collectors and the all commissioners, the academicians, the officials who are joining this webinar, we are very, very grateful to you for joining this webinar. We are also very grateful to the senior officials, the Joint Secretary Sri Rajput sir, and other officials and the deputy secretaries, under secretaries of the DRPGs, my colleague from NCGG, who is watching from their web room. And also, I would like to give great thanks to those I think young professionals and other officials who are working behind the curtain very hard. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Thank you so much.